Hey y'all, it's Kim. So I don't know if you guys have seen this dill hole dude, Chris Van Hollen. Uh, this is the senator from Maryland, I believe, that has gone down to what is it, El Salvador, to try to retrieve that illegal alien. They consider him like a MS-13 gang member. Let me see. I want to find his page, so give me a second. Let me go back. So I saw this crap this morning and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, other people are saying it, but let's see. So let me go to the first video where he talks about that he's at the airport. Hold on. Let me get this. I hate this thing. It doesn't stop. Hold on. Okay. So, and a lot of these senators are like doubling down on this stuff. So I don't get it. But hold on. Why is this going? Oh, it's being a pain in my butt today. Why does it always have to do this? Sorry. What is going on with this computer? Okay, so here's this dillweed. Let me back it up.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this
San
mission
Salvador?
is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Albrego Garcia home until he returns to his family. I hope to meet with representatives of the government. I hope to have the chance to actually see Kilmar and see what his condition is. But we are going to keep fighting because this is a miscarriage of justice. The Supreme Court has ruled.
No, what the miscarriage of justice was when he wasn't deported the first time. I think in 2019 there was an order against him, but hey, of course, we don't know if he came over way earlier and then the Biden administration let him cross the border. That's a miscarriage of justice. Give me a break.
9-0, 9-0, that he was illegally taken out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. And this is about due process. This is about rule of law. What bullies do is they begin by picking on the most vulnerable. But if we get rid of the rule of law, due process, the United States, it's a short road from there to tyranny. I'm here at the airport.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
about to.
Let's see what the comments have to say. I hope he got his ass roasted on this one. So 10 million people have seen this one. This says, let's see. We'll see how many. It says, I wonder why this is such a priority for you. Every single European nation plus America now has just two political parties to keep our demographics at least sort of how they've been for generations party and the flood this administrative zone with as many third worlders as possible party. Please stay there with your beloved constituent. We don't need traitors here anymore. Are we paying for this little Shawshank Redemption field trip? Nayib Bukele. What about the human right of a woman not to be raped? What about the human rights of kids to play or to be free or go to the park? What about the human right to live or to walk in the street? But no, they were worried about the human rights of the killers. And then it says you couldn't even bother to call a mom whose kid was killed by an illegal, but you're flying to see a criminal illegal who's literally back in his country of origin. You're a lunatic, Chris. And then it says, what a effing disgrace and traitor you are to our country. Pay your own way. Hey, Democrats, if you want illegal criminals living in our country, then you let them live in your homes. And then ask Mr. Garcia and his wife about the two domestic violence cases she filed against him when you next speak to him, please. You're in regular contact with Ms. Vasquez. Ask her why her public statements about Mr. Garcia contradict what she told the court. And then this guy, Andy I think he basically brought the receipts on the temporary restraining order or something like that, or a court case. Anyway, so it's FWI, whatever W, I don't know all this lingo stuff, but whatever. You do realize that Garcia's wife sought and received a court protective order against him. You're fighting to bring a domestic abuser back to America. Why not just let him stay home? Yeah, and then it says wife of Maryland man obtained protective order against him. Jennifer Vasquez obtained a protective order against her husband, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, MS-13 terrorist, after he brutally attacked her. So it says a constituent of Senator Van Hollen beat his wife on numerous occasions until she sought and received a final court protective order against him. Van Hollen wants him back home. So let's go back up and look at some more of these idiotic videos from this dillweed. So there he is getting ready to get on the plane. Here he is in the back of a van. Says, I just landed. Hold on. Just stop playing it. Damn it. It says, I just landed in San Salvador a little while ago and look forward to meeting with the team at the U.S. Embassy to discuss the release of Mr. Abrego Garcia. I also hope to meet with Salvadoran officials and with Kilmar himself. He was illegally abducted and needs to come home. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's watch his stupid video. At this point, I don't even want to listen to her face, but yeah, they lie and gaslight us.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city. Looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. And I do want to thank our Foreign Service officers and the whole team at this embassy and embassies around the world for all the good work they do on behalf of our country. I'm proud to co-chair the bipartisan Foreign Service Caucus that stands up for the men and women who are serving our country overseas and at home in the State Department. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador. As I've said before, the goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this until we're successful. I also hope to have the chance to meet with him, but we'll have a better idea if that works out a little later on.
So y'all do realize this is just a political stunt. This is just anything to be in opposition of Donald Trump and his oh my gosh, like in his push to get these illegal people out of our country. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, and just the Democrats have learned nothing from this election. Let's look at the comments on this one. It says that White House press briefing just made you look like the biggest a-hole maybe in recent American history. Meet these families when you get done defending illegal aliens. Yeah. Rachel Morin, Molly Tibbetts, Elizabeth Medina, Kate Steinle, Sarah Root, and Lake and Riley. Yeah, I mean, it says you're an effing traitor. How have you not deleted this yet? And then the Democrats' top 4 heroes in America are now a murderer named Luigi with the gun, a murderer named Carmelo with the butcher knife, and MS-13, excuse me, I was going to say MSNBC, but it's close enough. MS-13 illegal gang member and a Palestinian Hamas supporter. Let's see. So glad you're in El Salvador to rescue a criminal illegal alien member of MS-13. Too bad you couldn't give the same courtesy to the mother of Rachel Morin, who lives in Maryland and was brutally murdered and raped by an illegal alien. Did you listen to her 911 call? Do you know how hard she fought for her life? Do you wonder how her kids are doing today? Yeah, I don't want to keep reading that. That just infuriates me that this is where we're at in America right now. We have sitting Congress people fighting harder for illegal aliens than we do for our own citizens. Do you understand the gravity of this? I mean, this is like it's like Clown World or Twilight Zone. This is like crazy town. I just don't understand why and how the hell did we get here? How did we get here? It says Rachel Morin and Kaylee Hamilton, both from Maryland, both raped and killed by illegal criminals, and you never said a damn word. You are a pathetic disgrace, fighting for illegal criminals and not your own people, your constituents. Disgusting. I mean, I just don't understand how the hell these people get voted in, or is it just out of sheer desperation you have to fill a spot, so they just vote for whatever and they're just willing to accept anything. Let's see. Here he is. Let's see. I want to hear this one. Let me pause this. Ugh. So it says, I've been in El Salvador all day fighting for the return of Mr. Abrego Garcia. Do you not realize this guy is using your taxpayer money to go? Oh my God. Are we this freaking dumb in America? And we're this backwards? This guy's using our taxpayer money to go fight for an illegal alien in his own home country. And what is this guy doing for his own constituents? I mean, are you serious? This guy, anyway, it just goes on here. It says the Trump admin can lie all they want, but the court said they failed to show he was part of MS-13. This is about bringing home a man they admit should have never been abducted. I won't rest until then. Okay, but you won't fight for your own people.
I've had back-to-back meetings here in El Salvador with our team from the American Embassy, with the Vice President of El Salvador, with human rights groups. And the entire purpose has been to bring Abrego Garcia home, because U.S. courts have determined that he was illegally abducted from the United States and now finds himself in the most notorious prison in El Salvador. The Supreme Court, 9-0, has told the Trump administration they must facilitate his return home. They've refused to do it.
He's at home.
So I called upon the government of El Salvador to do it unless they can provide evidence that he's been involved in MS-13. They said they had no evidence. So this is not about MS-13. I know President Trump wants to make this about gang violence. I have been fighting MS-13 probably longer than Donald Trump even knew about MS-13. I care about every victim of crime. That's why we have a court system, to hold people accountable when they commit crimes, to make sure that they get the punishment they deserve.
And how many people have been not getting prosecuted in some of these more liberal states? Hello? DA's not filing charges on stuff, so there is no consequences. Obviously, they just allowed everybody to just come across that damn border. And how many people do we have here? And they just want to tie up the court system with all these cases, trying to try these people and give them due diligence or day in court or whatever the due process they keep going on and on about. That's not how this works. You came here illegally. We don't owe you anything. You need to go back. Automatic deportation. Get gone. Get back over the border. Go back to your country of origin. Do it the right way. But hopefully these people do get deported and then they can't ever come back because they already broke the law once. This just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any damn logical sense. And that's why it's become like the Republicans are the party of common sense. The Democrats and the leftists have become the party of play on your emotion, what somebody called it, homicidal or suicidal empathy. You're just constantly having this compassion, but they're taking advantage and screwing us over in America. I mean, I just don't get it. It's just that it's fake as far as the empathy. There is no real empathy, because if they cared, they'd pull them into their house. They wouldn't have sent them to all these so-called sanctuary cities. But I'm just saying, like, they just It just doesn't make any sense. None at all. None, none, none. I just don't get it. I mean, we're like living in the damn twilight zone, like I said. I don't understand this. Anyway, let's keep going.
We also have a court system to make sure that people who have not committed crimes or not been convicted of crimes are not disappeared out of the United States and sent to a notorious prison.
Don't try to clean up the language and say disappeared. No, he got deported. If he doesn't have his papers, hello, papers, he does not belong here. That's not disappeared, deported. Use the right word, deported back to his home country. Even the president of El Salvador said he was from that country. If I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what he said the other day with Trump. So this guy can lie all he wants.
Like Abrego Garcia. This is simply about letting him have his day in court. We use the
Yeah, we're gonna let everybody that's come over the border illegally have their day in court so they could try to keep these people here. Really? Okay, cool.
Courts to make sure that we don't convict people who are not guilty and that we convict those who are.
Oh, this guy. He's a piece of work.
I've had back-to-back meetings here in El Salvador.
This paused. I'm trying to go back to the main page. So this says, reminder, Chris Van Hollen walked out during President Trump's joint address to Congress, just as Trump was acknowledging the mothers of young women who were raped and murdered by illegal aliens, and then posted on X that he had had enough. What? Had enough of you being called out? I mean, my gosh. It says, this person put, yes, there are the laws Senator Van Hollen is violating at a minimum. The Logan Act. Let's look at this. This says treason, Title 8, and then President Bukele should detain Van Hollen for U.S. Marshals upon landing in El Salvador for extradition. No, because then it uses our tax dollars. Okay, it says the Logan Act. Any citizen of the United States, wherever he may be, who without authority of the United States directly or indirectly commences or carries on any correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any officer or agent thereof with intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or of any officer or agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversies with the United States, or to defeat the measures of the United States, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years, or both. Do both. These people need to know that there's consequences for their actions, even if they're in Congress. It says treason. This says, whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason. It shall is guilty of treason, and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under the title. See, this doesn't show me what that says. Not less than $10,000 and shall be capable of holding or incapable of holding any office under the United States. I mean, these people have been doing that for years, though, and nothing's happened. We've never seen somebody be hanged about the neck or whatever. This says United States Attorneys or Office of the United States Attorneys. It says Title 8 USC 1324 defines several distinct offenses related to aliens. Subsection 1324A1I through V, maybe, prohibits alien smuggling, domestic transportation of unauthorized aliens, concealing or harboring unauthorized aliens, encouraging or inducing unauthorized aliens to enter the United States, or engaging in a conspiracy or aiding and abetting any of the preceding acts. Subsection 1324A2 prohibits bringing or attempting to bring unauthorized aliens to the United States in any manner whatsoever, even at the designated port of entry. Isn't that interesting? So this guy's going over there trying to fight for, going down to El Salvador trying to fight for this guy. And he can't bring him here. Okay, so this person, Hunter Eagleman, it says, let's see. Congressman Corey Mills from Florida flies to Israel to save Americans. Senator Chris Van Hollen flies to El Salvador to save a criminal illegal wife beating gang member. We are not the same. And then Senator Chris Van Hollen must be charged for violating the Logan Act. This was a direct violation of Trump's foreign policy. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to undermine him at every turn. Let's see. It's, well, I don't know. Let's just look at this. It says that I think it's time to remove all statues and murals of George Floyd from our cities. POS simpletons like Chris Van Wallen and Cory Booker are getting the wrong idea and hailing common thugs like Garcia and Carmelo Anthony as some sort of heroes, even rewarding them with money. Senator Chris Van Wallen is complaining that El Salvador denied his request to meet with Gilmar Abrego Garcia. Yes, it turns out that American lawmakers have no power to demand a meeting with a foreign citizen in a foreign country. Imagine. Oh my gosh, let's listen to this dillweed.
I also told his wife and family that I would try to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia while I was here. So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said, I'm not interested at this moment.
I mean, he thought he was just going to bulldoze his way into this, y'all. I don't understand. You can't just go to another country and demand that they treat you any differently than anybody else that will have to come there. He's got to put you on a list. That's usually how it works. This guy's not his attorney. So that I know of, I don't think he's his attorney. I don't see how that would even be possible, but I'm just saying that I don't see how you can, I don't know. I don't know the legal ins and outs, and that's okay. I'm not trying to, but he can't just go to another country and demand that he see somebody. It's got to be planned ahead of time, and that does make sense. I mean, he's got to be cleared. This guy, just because he has like a U.S. passport and he was able to come down there, doesn't mean that they're just going to let him right in. Trying to bulldoze his, like I said, bulldoze his way in. Duh. They don't have to honor your request, sir, just because you bring your ass down there for like political optics.
In taking a tour of CCOT, I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he was not able to make that happen. I asked, he said he need a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he couldn't promise that either.
Yeah.
So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either a video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Abrego Garcia. So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family. He said he could not arrange that. He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen. So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone. I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice? I let him know that the family has requested that. He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen. So we have an unjust situation here. The Trump administration is lying about Abrego Garcia.
Wow.
I also.
So let's look at the comments on this one too. This is Charlie Kirk. It says he will be lucky if he isn't charged with violating the Logan Act. That would be nice. It says completely clueless and full of himself. And then AG Bondi is basically calling on her. It says the Logan Act I guess, in one statute, 613, 18 USC 953, enacted January 30th, 1799, is a United States federal law that criminalizes the negotiation of a dispute between the United States and a foreign government by an unauthorized American citizen. That should just end this entire discussion. Any of these senators that are trying to go and negotiate and even try to talk to this guy should be under investigation and penalized for that. I don't see how you can't be. And then it says, who does this guy think he is? Wish he cared about East Palestine, Lahaina, Asheville, North Carolina, Pacific Palisades as much as he cares about MS-13 terrorists. Did he ever visit the American cities I mentioned? No, but he goes to grandstand on our dime to fetch an MS or illegal MS-13 monster. He needs to resign. I'm telling you, this isn't as popular as some people might want you to think. It says I stand with MS-13 and wife beaters. The two faces of Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then it says a tale of two different illegal immigrant cases. Rachel Morin killer trial coverage is 0. Maryland man deported coverage 64 minutes 57 seconds. Yeah. I mean, they don't care as long as they get their few voters here. Van Hollen's grandstanding in El Salvador is peak DC theater. The administration deported a suspected MS-13 affiliate after courts confirmed his ties. No evidence. Try reading the actual rulings, but Democrats would rather jet set to foreign prisoners or prisons than secure our own border. And their priorities: American safety first, not performing diplomacy for someone with gang links. If Van Hollen wants to fight for criminals, maybe start with the 84,000 in Salvadoran prisons instead of grandstanding over one deportation. Rule of law isn't optional, even when it upsets the open borders lobby. Yeah, I mean, and the fact that this guy is going to take or try to take another trip down there is just ridiculous, because you know it's on our taxpayer dime with everything. It says, what an absolute piece of garbage this guy is. Patty Moore is his constituent, and her daughter was brutally murdered by an illegal, and he never even acknowledged it. Instead, he uses taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador for this photo op. His career needs to be finished. He cares more about a criminal, illegal alien than he does for his constituent, Rachel Moore, who was brutally murdered by one of these thugs. And then this is, please deport me. And then these Democrats keep embarrassing themselves and our entire country. Who the hell did he think he was? Hey, Democrats, you have no power. You have no control. You're a bunch of low-life, sleazy snakes trying to destroy this country, but you can't do it. There are way more of us than there are of you. Yeah. I'll read this last one. This is the Babylon Bee. It says American hostages in Gaza disguise themselves as MS-13 gang members, so Democrats will fight to bring them home. That sounds about right. I mean, I know the Babylon Bee is just kind of a parody site, but it's just funny. It says Democrats love criminals, insanity. A judge ruled that Trump cannot fly illegal terrorists back to their countries of origin, but nobody stopped Biden from flying illegals into our country without passports or any legitimacy. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. Make of this what you will. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm a taxpayer. We pay a lot of taxes. Not that we make a lot of money, but yeah, we get screwed all the time. But I mean, this really is something when you got an actual Democrat senator going to a foreign country trying to get somebody brought back to the United States that was deported. I don't know. That's just kind of crazy to me. I'm thinking we may just whoop the hell out of them in the midterms and 2028 if they keep pulling this stupid stuff. Just anything to be in an opposition to Trump. Fight him the entire way. Keep doing it because you're just going to lose and lose and lose. Just keep on. Just keep doubling down on this dumb stuff. I was going to say something else, but I'll try not to use too many bad words. I'm sorry for any words I used earlier, but anyway, it's just so frustrating that this is where we're at. I mean, it's like, yeah, you laugh to keep from crying because it's like, what in the hell is going on in this country? They are just like enemies on the inside. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep calling this stuff out. Whatever. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good afternoon. Bye.